bit smoother than yesterday, really. Good afternoon, everyone. There's not many people here today. I might have caught you all at the wrong time. Thanks ever so much for everybody that watched yesterday. We had 74 views, so you never know. The fact that it doesn't say vape at the end of it might get you a bit further up the thing. If anybody could hit that little like button, that would be handy. Hello, Gav, how you doing, mate? That would be handy. Get us in the logarithm. You never know. Hope you're all doing well. First question. I've just been thinking about this, to be honest, but do you find click and collect when you do it at this local, at the local supermarket? Do you find it more interesting than actually going shopping? Because you never know what you're going to get, do you, really? Hello, Shrek, how you doing? And my second question is, why did anybody ever make another can of shaving gel the day after, a shaving foam the day after they invented gel? Because it's absolutely useless. And today we're having a very large coffee mix here, yeah. Are you alright, Ian? Are you working, mate? Are you furloughed or what are you doing? You just got the school contract and then nothing to do in between? Our job is very, 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 very quiet at the minute. I think we're waiting for payday. And so are we, to be honest. It's been a bit dire this last couple of weeks. Shrek's working, so hi and bye. Hello, Becky, our only single one. Back to work, have fun. All right, back to work till 7 p.m. Oh, good lad. You could listen to us as a podcast and you wouldn't have to comment on anything. Yeah, I'm day off today. Just got to drop the car off. I had some new calipers on the front the other week, and they put some different brake pads into what we normally have. And every time you go over a bump, there's a metallic clunk, because they're obviously moving around the thing. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Hopefully we'll get going a little bit later on in the year. It's not looking like we're going to make Spain, anyway, because we were due to fly mid-June, and it looks like they're not going to let you go anywhere while the end of it, the very earliest. Bloody hell, gout. They used to say that was drinking port wine, Pav. So, I bet that bloody hurts. I know my dad had it a few times, and he doesn't drink port wine, but they said it's extremely painful. It's crystallisation, isn't it, in between your joints. Gouting, I thought you'd only got it in your feet. You'd be pleased when that goes away then. I've got my jab on Monday at 1 o'clock, I think it is. Up at the Lincolnshire Showground, so I'm going up there. My wife's got hers tomorrow in the same place. So hopefully that'll go all okay. I'm not really allergic to anything, so the only thing I'm allergic to is lilies. So if I go in there and I've got somebody's took them some lilies, I might be struggling. I went out yesterday and sat about for hours. Anyway, here's the deal of the week. I've got an iPhone XS, which is 2 years old. It's been on a contract, so obviously I've been paying the phone in with the contract. But now it's run out, so I rang them back. And I got 200 gig of data, unlimited calls and texts for £25 a month. That's on EE. And she said if I change my wife's over, they can do unlimited calls and texts and 10 gig of data for £10 a month. So that might be a thing. I think we pay a lot less in this country than what they do in the US for mobile technology anyway. Allergic to carrier fluid, so no job for me. Carrier fluid? What's carrier fluid? Oh, is that the stuff that they get the jab into the arm? You're a big one anyway, Shrek. You wouldn't... nobody would get you, mate. 6'10", you'd frighten it off. I'm going for it anyway. I want to travel. When eventually you can travel and everybody says, oh no, there's not going to be any passports for this jab. And then all of a sudden they find out. Me neither. Nope, it can be in any... Ah, joint. Just for known for feet. Nearly done painkillers. Ah, good. Yeah. Yeah, my dad had it in his ankles, I think. Or something like that. And he struggled with that and it kept, it kept coming back with him. But he's got all sorts of different health issues, and I think that, he's got a really bad heart, so I don't think stuff gets around his system as well as it should do. He suffers with chest infections and stuff like that. And so obviously he was one of the first people ever to get the jab. He was December the 6th. Because they did say if he got it, it would take him straight away. But so, I've never really been a fan of injections, but I'm looking forward to having this one. I'm also looking forward to the day when I can not wear a mask while I'm driving the cab, because that just it's a bit. But on the other side of it, I've not been ill for a year, and normally when you drive a cab for a living, you get everything that's going past, and I've not had anything. So that could also be the fact that we're not taking people down to the doctors. So what we're all up to today then? Obviously, Shrek's at work. Gav's not doing anything, just sat there with a limp wrist. What do you do for a living then, Gav? Or are you a secret agent and you can't tell us? It does seem weird not doing buffies. I left vape out the thing just to see if it's true what they said about you're not able to get into the searches because of the word vape. So we'll see. Airline crank. Oh god. Now that's awkward, isn't it? Really. I went out last week, and I was usual thing, typical cab driver. Went out the door 3 minutes before I was supposed to pick them up. Just got going down the road and I thought, I haven't brought a vape with me. It's the first time I've ever gone anywhere without a vape, I think, since I actually stopped smoking. And I couldn't wait to get back, to be honest. I'm almost chugging it more than what I thought I did. That's a good thing with us, though. We can do it in the cab. Obviously not when you're a bus driver. Are you a coach driver, or are you a service bus driver? I'm going silly later. Ganyan, man. Oh, that's more a bit north. Anyway, just going to show you this. If you like Eisenberg, you'll love this. It's actually not called that on the thing. It's called Smurf Lust or something like that. So I've changed it. It's made by the famous Nick Nevins Evans. Hello, Graham. Today I will mostly be building shelves, paying taxes and swearing at a bottle label machine. Oh, that's what that was. I'm sure it'll be fine when you get going. You'll be able to teach us how to do it. We need to get you on and have an interview, what it's like to start up a business in a pandemic, and you can tell us all about it. It's ever so funny because if you get a coach driver in the cab and you pick them up from the thing, it's oh, you bus driver? I drive a coach. All right. I suppose it's only the same with us. They'll get in, they'll go, oh, no, and you go, no, it's a taxi, not a private hire vehicle. But not that you're any better than a private hire driver. It just means that you can pick people up in the street. What area are you from then, Gav? Is it the Evans a real thing? Are you a Welshman? Multi-talented bus and coach. Not much coach until June. No. Obviously, that's affected our industry as well because there's no airports, because nobody's flying anywhere. There's no bus trips. I know a guy has a 6-seater and most 8-seater or whatever, and most of his jobs are feedering for the bus companies. So obviously, he's not had any work for a year. So he's just parked up and doing what he can. But that's a bit of a job on its own, isn't it? Being a feeder driver for a coach trip, because obviously, it's that right, we'll be in so by 10 o'clock and they turn up at 11:15. You need a lot of bloody patience, I'll be honest. I've done a few of that. We actually went to Spain on a bus. I really enjoyed it. It's the first time I ever went. A company called Cantabrica. I think they finally went bust a few years ago, but they were good people. And that's the only real time I've been to France all the way through it. Hope for a return. Well, that's it. You're versatile. So LinkedIn. I went on LinkedIn. Graham says you want to go on LinkedIn. He says you'll get, know into people. Oh, you work in Donny? Right. My dad's from Conisborough. Used to have a farm at Conisborough back in the day. He's 85, and I think he was about 16 when they sold it. Done a few feeders over the last few years. Yeah, it's all right but when you're doing it at a cap, obviously you've got your other bookings as well, so it makes it a bit awkward. Because you go out to pick somebody up at 10 o'clock, and eventually pick them up at 11:15. And obviously you don't get paid any waiting time out, so it's nearly not. Same with airports, really. The price now to pick up in a car park at an airport, if you're only doing a short airport run, if you don't watch it, you can soon end up losing out. It's a waste of time. It's it's just the way it is. Manchester Airport now, by the time you pick up, it's £7 or £8. And they're bringing round for the best price. You just don't stand a chance, really. I've got a bubble. I've never. I used to do a lot of work for a company, and we used to rent. Conisborough. It's not there now. They call it Beaver's Farm. As you're going out towards Rotherham, I presume, up a farm lane on the left-hand side, the guy bought it. If you go onto YouTube and look at an account called Mexborough Buildings, I think he calls it. He does a walk round of a spooky farm in Park Lane, and that was when the house was. I can't think the house was still up, but they've knocked it down now. It was my granddad and his brother were in partnership because the father died and left it to my granddad. And then when he died suddenly at about 40 odd, so his brother took it over. So his brother bought my grandma out, basically. I think it sold for $1 million a good few years ago. But sadly, we didn't get any. But anyway, my mum's from Edlington, so they met at the local roller skating rink, and I think they've been married 60 years next year. So longevity of marriage is pretty big. I've been married 37 years. My other brother, he was a bit after me, although he was older. He's been married 30, I think. Then the Bambino, who's 45, he's been married at 17, I think. My daughter, she's sadly getting divorced from her husband. Well, not sad for her, because obviously she didn't want to be married to him anymore, and that's the first divorce we've had in the family. Ooh. Sorry if you've got earphones on. My grandma and granddad are obviously that's where they're buried there. And I've been once in 20 years. They died the same day as my father-in-law. And it's 21 years this year. And I went and took somebody, I can't think where it was, but it was past Conisborough, and I thought, I know where I'm going to go on the way back, so I popped in. And they were having a lot of trouble with I don't know what it was, but the land had sort of slipped, and everything was, the gravestones were all going in. They've had to pay and have them put all back up. I think it was 21 years ago, 22nd of February. I was driving into Doncaster and got to the racecourse roundabout and found out my grandma had died, and I got to the same roundabout on the way back and found out my father-in-law had died. That was a rough day, I'll tell you. But onwards and upwards. So when you're back at work then, Gav? Has everybody gone? Am I talking to myself? That's why these live streams are better when they're 30 minutes long, because you can run out of something to say. Anybody following Dom Jolly on Twitch? If you remember back in the day with Trigger Happy TV, he's now got a Twitch channel, because obviously they're not doing anything either. They can't get out. He's a travel writer now as well, and he can't get out of the country, so he can't travel, right? So he's become a gamer on Twitch. He's got a fairly good following as well. So Hooton Roberts. Now it was one of the old pit villages I went to. I went straight past I went through Knutsborough that way from what I can remember. I can't really remember where it was, but it was one of the old pit villages, just something from here. I can't think which one it was. Hopefully Saturday. Yeah, I'm back tomorrow. Hopefully it's going to do some good tomorrow. I think the last Thursday of the month is usually when people start getting paid. Yeah, don't forget Benny's Mixing at 9 o'clock. It's their anniversary today. Is it the show been going a year, or is it 50 show? I can't remember what it was now. Hello, you're on a phone. Ah, excellent. You ain't got a spanner in here. There's only Becky that's got a spanner, and she's not very active today. I think we might take it off her. I don't know if even Bill's got one in here, to be honest. I probably haven't. Just when I've never really done anything. This YouTube channel's been there for ages, and it was just my YouTube channel. So if you look back on it, there's one or two interesting videos from different places. There's a rainstorm in the Dominican Republic that was bloody scary. It was like the back end of an hurricane, and it was we were laid on the beach, and they said, "Oh, it's going to rain," and sure enough, it did. And then we went back to the room straight away within about 20 minutes, and they absolutely sailed it down. And then there's another one. There's a few from Florida when we went in 2019. But I'm not much of a... I need to get organised with some sort of... I was saying yesterday, I don't know if anybody was listening, but I was saying yesterday, I've spotted a camera. There's a chap called the Mac Master that does live vlogs around Tenerife when he can get there. And he was doing a review on a camera that they probably sent him, because he's got about 40,000 subscribers. And I can't remember the name of it now, but it was 300 quid, but it was about that big. And it comes in a little holder, and it comes with a sticky thing that you can stick it on the window. It's got self-horizon, so you can actually stick it in a car window and video. So I'm thinking about getting one of those. So I'd like to do some, when we travel to different places, I'd like to do some sort of travel type vlogs, and just even just riding up the road with the sea at the side of you and put some sexy music on. I was looking through, we go to a place called Frigliana, and there's a guy there that rents villas out. So I just Googled it, just put it on a search through YouTube. And there is quite a few different sort of vlogs from Frigliana, but more in the middle of the White Village. But we go for the views from the top of the hills, pre-lockdown holidays. Yeah. We actually managed to get to Turkey last year. We're 2 weeks in Turkey. And my wife's just shouted up to see what I'm doing. So we got there for 2 weeks, and it was lovely. Obviously walking around with your mask on in 30 degrees isn't that easy, but it was good. It was nice to get out of the country, and hopefully we're going to get there. We've got 2 booked for this year, one for June and one September. So if we don't get in June, we'll get in September, and hopefully things will start to ease off. Stop driving everybody mad. Has anybody else braved one? Has anybody else booked anything, or have you all decided not to bother? I don't really do holidays in this country either, though, to be honest. So we've sort of done Mablethorpe for the night and stuff like that, but I usually go there for lunch rather than for a week. So I don't really fancy a Butlins or a Pontins or anything like that. I'd rather stay at home. Anyway, everything's died. Becky is alive. Hello, Becky. There's not much to do in here today. Nobody to throw out. Yeah, what are you doing up there? Yeah, that's what she just said. What are you doing up there? I said, I'm live on the internet if you want to come and talk to everybody. She's gorgeous. She'd probably get more views than me. Where are you going to, Free Rider? we haven't got any dependent children, obviously. My daughter's 38 years old. Another thing. I'd point you over to John did a live stream yesterday. Proper Coils did a live stream. He's bought a new series box, 3D printed series box, and he fitted some series coils to I can't think what RTA it was. So that's worth a watch. It's actually on the Late Night Vape Show Facebook group if you want to click on that. He's now got plans. He's got a desktop computer on the way and a proper area for casting. So he's coming back. I think he's been doing a degree as well. But if you want to nip across and have a look at that, it's really interesting. Skegness. Where do you go, Butlins or just in the middle? I like Skeggy. We go there sometimes. Coatsfields in Skeg. And a bit later on. Butlins, right, nice. We used to go to Butlins years ago. I was actually in Butlins when they knocked down the old theatre. They did a do-up in about, was it 1990 or something like that? They had a big refurb when they put that tent up. And I was on there, camping end of August with some friends and their kids, just 3 nights away. So yeah, it's lovely. I wouldn't mind having a camper. I've been watching old Cart Vapor, which was now not Cart Vapor anymore, but my brother, he had a massive accident years and years and years ago, 30, 40 years ago, and he's always been touring on a motorbike. And anyway, his ankles got that bad that he couldn't hold the motorbike up when he stopped. His ankle was too weak, so he sold that and had a camper professionally made from a 300. I can't think what the bloody van is. You know, like one of them fat vans that go past you at 5 million mile an hour, the Mercedes one. So he had one of them converted into a proper camper, and he goes all over the place in that. But he's had some really interesting travels. He's set off on this motorbike and, you know, go to Czech Republic, Germany, you know, everywhere. Got photographs of him stood at the bottom of the ski run where Eddie the Eagle flew off the end of in the Olympics. And he just used to set off on a motorbike. Yeah, Butlins is nice and it's just a bit expensive. I once a year take a family, it's grandmother, mother and daughter, and I take them all the way in and put the bags in the room, you know, in the little chalet thing, and then I go back and fetch them. And I have to take grandmother down to pick a mobility scooter up, and then, you know, I'll go back a week later and fetch him back. But we didn't go last year, obviously, because it was shut. But I don't know if we're going this year either. But we used to go there. So we used to go there as kids. And that was the thing when we were knocking this picture house down, because we used to go there as kids, and there was always 2 big knights stood at the front of the stage. And when they knocked them over, they were made out of paper mache. So that was a bit disappointing. And the crazy golf thing, I always remember that as a small child. It was one of those things that I remembered. And they took that down, and it was laid in our company's yard, just laid on its side. So it's one of those shattered your dreams. But I always wanted to go abroad. Right from being a kid, I always thought it was an amazing, special place. If I used to see a bottle washed up on the beach, I thought, oh, that's from that magical place called abroad. So first time I got any money, which was when I first started self-employed, we booked a trip on a bus. And went across with Cantabrica to Calella in northern Spain. And I expected when we got to Calais, when we went across on the ferry, I thought all the French people would be there waving. Oh, Mick's finally turned up. The first experience I had in a foreign country was a motorway services just after we got off the ferry, and they were less than hospitable, shall we say. But I suppose it's the same if they went to one here. And apart from nipping across to pick some beers up once, that's about the only time I've ever been to France. But these flights we've booked this time are Birmingham, Charles de Gaulle, Malaga. So we get a chance, like a 2-center. Although we're only spending an hour in France. First time I ever went, I went up to order a cup of coffee and I'm going, coffee? And she's going, eh? That she didn't understand. Well, obviously coffee in French is café, so she did understand. She was just being horrible. Anyway, that's it. That's your 30 minutes. Thanks very much for being there. If you could... that's near Lefranc, isn't it, Mick? Where's that? Calella. No, there's Calella Parafugal, which is a small fishing village, and then there's Calella and Pineda, which are nearly stuck together. And it's the one where the train line goes across the front of the beach. You have to go under it. And not long after we were there was a massive train crash just a little bit further up the line and killed loads and loads of people. So, I don't know if it is near Lefranc, which is the one I went to, but I said there is two. There's Calella Parafugal, which is just a small, which would be suitable for me now, as an older person. And then there's Calella and Pineda, which are stuck together. We went on a campsite called Camping Bel Sol. And then the year later, after 28 hours sat up on a bus, we flew to Corfu. But they just had these little caravans. They were more like a bricky tea hut. That's the way to describe them. Really, really small. Obviously no air conditioning. There was a cooker in there, but you never use that anyway. You need to make tea in the morning. But all your life's based outside anyway. You have a table and chairs outside and you just sit out there and do everything. Yeah. I think it's the first one is a lot nearer to the French border. And the second one it's like half a day. I think it was about half a day. We went across no man's land, probably 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and actually arrived at the campsite with swollen ankles at 30 years old. At about lunchtime. And the only problem is with that is we did the 17-day one because you had a day and a half travelling each way. And as it's coming to the end of the holiday, you think, oh no, I've got 28 hours on that bloody bus. You could still smoke on them then, though, if you were in the back 5 seats. And I was a heavy smoker at the time. But when we got on the way back, we met a couple from Doncaster, and they could smoke for England. They'd be dead now, both of them, because both of them were ill with smoking. Especially the old man, who was just cough, and they actually filled the bus ashtray up. They had to empty it for him, and so they could get started again. Anyway, I'll bother you no more. I'm just going to go and have a bit of lunch, and then I've got to go and drop the car off at the garage, see if I can get it this bloody clicking noise stopped. I've just spent a lot of money on it, and it's technically worse than what it was when I had it done. Well, not, obviously it's serviceable, it's just noisy. I'll catch you later, everybody. If you could give us one of them, get us up the old list, it won't be too bad. And we'll catch you probably on Sunday on the other channel. Thanks and bye.